How to persist in order to actually manifest your desires. Now, we hear all the time that persistence is one of the most important pieces of the manifestation process. Even Neville Goddard, one of my favorite manifestation teachers, said, "An assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact." Now, sometimes this carries on for a very long time, and we don't understand why, even though we're persisting, we aren't getting what we want. So my goal in this video is to make it clear how to correctly or accurately, rightly persist in order to manifest your desire ASAP without delay. Now, to start off, I want to give you an example from a client I was speaking with last week, and she told me that she had been persisting for years with very little or almost nothing to show for it. Some manifestations take time, but years is a long period of time to see little to no results. So that's how I knew we needed to go within. And I asked these two questions, and I encourage you to ask yourself the same questions to see if you're really persisting correctly. The first question is, what is the feeling of fulfillment that you will allow yourself to have when that thing, that circumstance manifests? Now, the second question, which is equally, if not more important, is how are you feeling the majority of the time throughout your day? Would you say it's that feeling that you just described or something else? And she said, like many of my clients do, if I'm being honest with myself, it is usually something else. I'm not spending the majority of my time in that feeling or state. And so that's what our goal is. We want to persist in feeling that we have our desire. Now, this doesn't mean we are forcing emotions in order to feel that. We aren't forcing ourselves to do affirmations 24/7 or anything else that feels like forcing or trying to make something happen. We are simply allowing ourselves to recognize that anytime, anywhere, we are free to activate that feeling within ourselves. There is nothing stopping us from having that same sense of fulfillment that we would have if that thing or circumstance was physically present before it actually comes to manifest. In fact, that's the law of reversibility. If we believe that this thing or circumstance will give us a certain feeling, then getting into that feeling will give us that thing or circumstance. That is the goal. We want to make this feeling such a habit that it becomes a natural part of who we are. We find ourselves, without force, without effort, feeling that way all the time, no matter what we're doing. Now, how can you apply this in your own life? Of course, step one is to figure out exactly what that feeling of fulfillment is for you. What does your desire mean to you? For example, if you want a car, some people think, okay, I'm going to manifest this money and I'm going to buy this car and that's it. And they think about it on a very surface level. But everything is energy, so you need to take it to the energetic level. What does it mean to you? Honestly, I would say it's probably a sense of freedom. Freedom comes from the ability to take that vehicle and maybe go somewhere lovely for lunch, or go and pick up groceries, or drive to work instead of walking or taking a bike. It even frees up more time if you were used to walking or biking everywhere. So it gives you a sense of freedom, a sense of expansion. And so that is something, it's not an emotion, it's not exactly a thought, although emotions or thoughts may come up as a result of this sense of freedom. But your goal, your main goal is not emotions or thoughts, it is just that sense of freedom. You activate it within yourself. And you can do that with a technique, but you don't need to tie yourself to the technique. My recommendation is decoupling the sense or feeling of fulfillment from the idea or mental picture you have of that thing. So you may start off by visualizing for something or affirming for something, and it activates that sense of freedom within you. That's wonderful. But once you have it, I would say drop the affirmation or drop the visualization and allow yourself to just abide in that feeling. Become so familiar with it that you can activate it anytime, anywhere. Once you know it, once you are intimately acquainted with this wonderful sense of fulfillment, whatever it is for you, then for you to make it the most natural thing in the world, to make it a common habit or a common sense that you have within yourself, is to treat everything like a sign to activate this feeling within you. You may get opposite thoughts or feelings that imply you don't have what you want. Those are all just telling you to get back into this wonderful feeling of freedom, for example. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to make the jump from feeling very, very negative to feeling the most wonderful sense of freedom. That may be very difficult, but you can instead choose to relax first. Take nice deep breaths, calm down, take the mind off of whatever problem is making you feel the opposite of what you want, and then when you're there, when you're in a nice neutral state, you can move up into the feeling of freedom. Don't try and force yourself from feeling really, really bad or restricted to a supreme sense of freedom, because it might be like a slingshot. You may be pulling yourself forcefully out of the negative up into this heightened state, and then something comes along and triggers you, and boom, you're right back down, maybe even lower than you were before. So relax first. Prioritize relaxation. Just focus on the breath. Nice deep breaths. Become calm, and from there it's going to be easy and effortless to move into a sense of fulfillment, whatever that is for you. Now, this is wonderful. This is the key to detachment, because once you get acquainted with this feeling, once you start using everything as a reminder to get you back into that wonderful state, you're going to find yourself there naturally without trying. You're going to find that you don't have to do manifestation techniques if you don't want to, if you don't feel like it. If it's a joy, if it's a pleasure to do for you, go ahead. But if you feel like you're forcing 10,000 affirmations, you won't have that pressure anymore, because you'll already be living from the ideal state, from that wonderful sense of fulfillment. Now, sometimes we struggle to just easily and effortlessly let go of the thoughts and emotions that come up along the way. Now, that's why I want to share with you these 2 declarations. I call them declarations because they're stronger than affirmations. You just say them once in the moment and then go about your business, trying not to engage the mind on the subject of your desire anymore afterwards. And I shared them in a PDF, which I'll give you a link to down below, completely free explanations of these wonderful, powerful declarations that I use almost daily. The first one is a prayer that I got when reading Robert A. Russell's book, You Can Get What You Want If You Find It Within Yourself. And it goes like this. I leave this situation lovingly in the hands of the Father with the trust of a child, knowing that it's already taken care of in the highest and best way. Now, this is so wonderful because it really clarifies your intention when you understand not just saying the words vainly without feeling into them, but recognizing the meaning behind them. You truly trust that the Father, God, Source, Universe, not mind, infinite intelligence and power within you is capable of all things, and so with the trust of a child, complete trust, without an ounce of doubt or argument or any struggle or resistance, you allow this situation to be taken care of for you. You no longer take control of the situation. You don't let the conscious mind or the ego, the rational, reasoning mind, try and control the situation. You completely give it up so you are free to receive the answer. So after you say this, you completely let go of whatever has been on your mind or holding you back or blocking your good from manifesting for you, and then you get back into activating that wonderful sense of fulfillment without force, without effort. It all becomes so easy. Now, the second declaration is inspired by Richard Dott's Not Mind. It's just another name for God, Source, Universe, but it's just representative of everything beyond the limitations of the conscious mind. It is beyond all things and therefore capable of all things, including handling whatever situation is at hand. And it is. I connect this situation to not mind. Dissolve all thoughts, emotions, limiting beliefs, and blocks related to this pure intention. I also connect not mind to this pure intention to manifest it easily, effortlessly, automatically, and instantaneously. And again, with this, once you say it, once you understand that everything in your way has been dissolved, there's no more work to be done, everything is finished now, you get back into a relaxed state where you can activate that wonderful feeling of fulfillment for you. That is what you persist in. You persist in removing all of the limiting thoughts, emotions in your mind, all the beliefs and everything that's holding you back in your mind, so that you can return consistently, habitually, naturally, easily, effortlessly into the state of relaxed fulfillment. Now, you don't have to repeat these declarations over and over, maybe if something especially is difficult to get off of your mind, but do not turn them into another technique. That is not their purpose. The purpose is to remind you of truth, which is that you, the conscious, rational, reasoning mind, don't have to control the situation. You can allow everything to be solved for you. In fact, over time, you may not even need these long versions. You could even just say God or not mind, or I connect to not mind now, and know simply that it means everything that's stated in the longer version of the declaration. You can make it one anchor word. I also recommend that. If you have an anchor word, if the word is freedom, you can just repeat freedom, 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 which will create less resistance than trying to say, I am free, I am free, I am free. That's actually a tip from Dr. Joseph Murphy in his book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Instead of bringing up all this resistance saying, I am free, I am rich, I am prosperous, instead you just say freedom, riches, prosperity, and you find that there's much less resistance. It just kind of, as you repeat it, activates this wonderful sense of feeling within you. So after doing that, go about your business just lightly maintaining that feeling. Wear it like a perfume. Walk around in that sense of feeling. Not forcefully, not with effort, just allowing it to be so. As you persist this way, your desire must manifest because your outer world has to be a reflection of your inner state. As your inner state becomes one that is not dictated by your outer circumstances, it is dictated by your choice of feeling of complete, wonderful, lovely fulfillment now, then it must manifest. Now, it can be difficult to maintain that sense of feeling when you have deep programming of fear, worry, doubt, impatience, dealing with 3D triggers. Everything is making you feel like you don't have what you want. I dive deep into how you can overcome these patterns and triggers in my detachment course. You don't need it, but it does give you powerful tools to guide you into that easy, effortless state of manifestation where everything in life is flowing to you the way it's supposed to be. You can snag it at the link in the pinned comment or the description. Next, if you want to learn how to make miracles a normal and natural part of your life, watch this video right here. As always, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all very much, and I will see you next time. Take care.